We'll be starting the meeting soon. The camera's on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our guest and delegation. Some are present physically here in the chamber. Some would be to the Zoom system, and we will announce as the time comes. Welcome, everybody. We are gathered in the William Lake First Nation Setback People Territory, thanks to the elder chief, the nation allowing us to do the business. Before we move further, Councillor Moses is under the weather, so he is not even able to join us through the Zoom. So I request everybody, make sure you get your flu shot and everything, whatnot. You have to look after your health. It's very important. We need all of you time to time. Adoption of the agendas on the table, please.
So moved. And I think there's a friendly amendment, Your Worship, to add something.
Yes, Councillor Beam wanted to add a late item and reference to authorization of our travel. We will be added. Moved and seconded with
Can I make a resolution?
Please.
I want to add that it's for the BC Natural Resource Forum, and I just want to go for one day, but I'll make a resolution that
So we will do
for
when we
any
come.
staff or for any council that wish to attend. I hear nothing but great things from other leaders that when I'm in all my boards on how great and it's in Prince George. It's for a few days. I mean, usually just the mayor has gone, but I just would make a motion that whoever that we cover the expense of registration.
At this point, I'm going
Prince
to add
George,
it to the
January.
agenda. When the time comes, we will have the resolution.
Yeah, we're adding
please.
it, right.
Moved and seconded with the late item being added. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously. Minute of the last council meeting, October 21st.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Before I take the call, I wanted to thanks to Councillor Nelson as acting mayor, who did perform very well. I heard nothing but a lot of compliment from the community, how calm he was in control. And, yeah, I did.
Thank you, Your Worship.
I'm not making the story, and even a couple people went saying, you should take more often holiday. I said, oh, geez, I thought 1 week was too much for me, but I'm going to think if I could take more than 1 week holiday now, so especially when Councillor Nelson is acting. Anyway, all in favor? Receiving the minutes. Yeah,
Minutes.
and carried unanimously. Well, our favorite time of delegations, a lot of discussion talk, especially positive talk recently, and it is my honor to welcome Karen Cooper, Executive Director of Clinical Operation, and Thompson Cariboo Rural, and Dr. Newhoff, Chief of Staff of the Cariboo Rural. It's our quarterly update, and thank you, Karen. Looking forward for you both, and welcome to my one-time, all-time favorite Angie too here as a communication director. Thank you, Angie, and to your friend. Yes, thank you. Please.
Excellent. Great to be here. And may I also introduce in the room Kelly Dillon, who is the new Clinical Operations Director at Cariboo Memorial Hospital. And we're pleased that she can be in person, whereas Jacques and I could not make that work tonight. So thank you for having us. Next slide, please. I'm calling in tonight from the ancestral and unceded territory of the Cheque people as well, from my home in Kamloops, and I believe Jacques is at his home in Williams Lake. Next slide, please. So thank you for sending a list of what you would like to hear for the quarterly update this time. So we'll take you through the 4 topics that were shared, an update on how we're doing with our urgent primary care center, and specifically the request of has it impacted the emergency department. So we'll walk through that. Again, an update, very excited for our new tower, and we have a bit of a renovation update as well. I think what everyone's hoping to hear is that with that new build, we're continuing to have the staff to be able to run all of the services that we envision in that new building. And then lastly, there was a request for an update on the youth mental health and substance use services in the Thompson Cariboo. So it's a little bit jam-packed, and it's a little bit Karen Cooper heavy, so my apologies to Jacques Newhoff, who will get to contribute, albeit in a lesser way tonight, but I'm really grateful for his support, both in this meeting and at the hospital. Next slide, please. So you'll see some familiar faces in this picture for our grand opening on February the 25th of the UPCC, or Urgent Primary Care Center. This is where you go for your episodic care needs. So most of our primary care clinics are really about longitudinal care. This is where you go if you've got an unexplained rash, or maybe you've got an earache, those kind of more minor, but you need service right away. And so since that day of opening, we've been running 7 days a week, including holidays, from 9:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night. And in addition to primary care providers, we also have nursing and Indigenous patient navigators, social work, and other team members available to support that comprehensive care needs. So next slide will show a little bit of the data. We're averaging around 1,100 patient encounters per month. And so what you'll see on this is the bar graph is the total number of encounters. The number in turquoise, which may be a little harder to see, is the number of folks that are coming after hours. So that's a big piece of any urgent primary care center, is those extended hours. And lastly, we have had both in-person providers as well as virtual providers. And so you'll see the breakdown. If folks are asking, oh, it's mostly virtual. Well, actually, there's a lot of in-person care that's happening. So we broke the data down by that. Next slide, please. So just not in a bar graph format, but in a format maybe we can all appreciate, is nearly 8,000 visits since we opened, of which, as I said, the majority were in person, and you can see the breakdown of virtual. One of the things we use in the Urgent Primary Care Center is a triage process, a little bit like they do up in the emergency department. And that clear triage process has flagged folks that have arrived at the Urgent Primary Care Center and whose needs were actually more appropriate for the emergency department. And I bring that to your awareness because our next slide is going to dive into, has this actually impacted the emergency department? So let's head to that now. So what I've highlighted is the data over the past 3 years to really show that our volumes coming through the emergency department at Cariboo Memorial are pretty stable, averaging 61 visits a day, and you can see some of the fluctuations and normal fluctuations of daily business. So I'm going to walk you through since the UPCC opened, and that's the area that's circled in the red oval. And what you'll see is a turquoise line, and that's on the Canadian Triage Acuity Scale. That's a CTAS 4, and that's typically stuff that would go see a physician in a primary care clinic and isn't necessarily appropriate for the emergency department. And so you can see since we've opened that more minor treatment line has steadily declined, and that's what we want to see. So while the overall visit volume hasn't changed, we're seeing less of that minor treatment. What I can't explain and will continue to monitor is the CTAS 2 score, which is the orange line. That is the more moderate to high acuity. And for whatever reason, that has also gone up since the Urgent Primary Care Center, maybe because folks access care and were directed to hospital, as you saw on the previous slide. Again, we'll monitor that very carefully. So this is not atypical of what we've seen across the region when we open an urgent primary care center. And what we typically find is an unmet need in the community that's now met. And so while it might not change the overall volume, what this graph shows is that we're trending to have the right care in the right place. So more minor treatment in the urgent primary care center, folks that are sicker accessing care through the emergency department. Next slide, please. So when we break down what's been walking through our door, for the most part, it's general symptoms. And I'll think about how we actually code patients, because I do find this isn't actually painting the picture I need it to from what's the most common presentation. I'm quite surprised to see musculoskeletal sitting at only 1.3% when we know that in an emergency department, that tends to be a full third of your volumes. So more to be done, I think, to get a better stratification of what's walking through the door. But at the end of the day, I think we've been defaulting maybe a bit much to the general symptoms code. So I'll take questions at the end, but I am going to pivot. And I really liked how you led off the meeting, Mayor, around our update being mostly positive news, because I really believe it is. It's positive in the sense that it's showing the investments in this community into the healthcare system and the amount of folks that are using it. So we'll pivot to the redevelopment project and a bit of an update on where we're at with our new tower, as well as the other phases of the project. Next slide, please. So in the picture on the left, you'll see your mayor, as well as the health minister, and Jacques and I and Kelly. We had the very privileged honor to tour the new site and see the mock-up rooms. You can see the where the construction is at to date. I can tell you that the mock-up rooms had to be taken down. However, once they're reestablished, we'll be able to resume tours. And it'll be something for council to let me know if they would like. I know the regional hospital district, when we presented last week, did wish for a tour of their board members. So if you guys can let me know tonight, that'd be great. Next slide, please. So you'll see that most of the exterior work is completed. In fact, we're moving quite substantially more into the interior on those finishing touches. However, as you may have seen updated at the Regional Hospital District and through media, is that our contractor contractor Graham Construction has issued a one-time extension notice of 59 days. So we were to open in November of 2026, like literally a year from now. And so that'll be delayed to January, early February of 2027. Next slide, please. I think the most important thing on that delay is that it's a one-time. So we are not expecting any further delays. And the other question I get asked is, are we on budget? And yes, we're on budget. So phase one will be to move into the new tower. Once we do that in early 2027, work begins immediately on the existing site in order to do our redesign on the first and second floor. So where emergency is presently will now become an ambulatory and cancer care unit. And on the second floor, where our medical surgical beds are presently, will become an inpatient psychiatric unit. And so we're very excited that this project just continues to expand and enhance access to service more locally. Right now, the closest inpatient psychiatric unit for folks in Williams Lake is in Kamloops at Royal Inland. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of a timeline. I think I've talked you through it. It's just a bit of a different visual, but we've been at this a while, since 2019, when the project plan was completed through our procurement of design and construction. And I think everyone will be thrilled when we open the doors in early 2027. Again, that doesn't stop the work. And the second phase of the project is still on target to finish in 2029. Next slide, please. So we'll continue along the way with engagement, particularly with our First Nation partners, including Williams Lake First Nation, really around making sure we've got the access to language, the, as we design the artwork and the finishing touches within the building. I know there's some coordination with regards to accessing the new parking and working very closely with the City of Williams Lake on that. And for anyone wanting to get regular project updates, you can see the website included in your meeting package. You'll finally hear from Jacques soon. One of the questions I got asked at the Regional Hospital District that I've managed to be able to do the homework on is how much staff do we need to hire for the new build? And so a total of 61 new full-time equivalents will be hired for the expansion. We've actually begun to do some of that early recruitment, and we've been increasing our staff in anticipation. And I've got some slides coming up that highlight just that. Next slide, please. Over to you, Jacques.
Perfect. Thank you, Karen. And I don't think they have to hear a lot about me or from me. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me tonight, and I do apologize for not being able to make it in person. As you can see here, and has always been the case, we in Interior Health work very closely with the divisions of family practice to help with recruitment efforts, and we were successful in finding a ED physician that was able to start at Cariboo Memorial Hospital in the summer of this year, already helping us out in stabilizing a lot of our services and shifts, and we are very grateful to have him and his family here with us. We also have 2 new primary care physicians who have joined now in the fall, one of them on a return of service contract for 2 years and the other a return of service contract for 3 years. We have a 3rd candidate who has matched to our community for the fall of next year as well. And there are talks of a potential candidate for the spring, but nothing confirmed as yet. We, as always, try every possible strategy in terms of recruitment, but not only recruitment, retention as well, as we feel that it carries equal weight. And one of these strategies is compensation methods and for both our local and permanent physicians, which have been proven to be successful and able to create a lot of stability within our inpatient services as well as the emergency department.
Thanks, Jacques. So I think we've presented in this format before, so I've tried to mirror it. And I do want folks to take note. The turquoise graph on the left is the net inflow of staff into Williams Lake, and the orange is the outflow. Outflow also includes permanent employees who move their employment status down to casual. So some of the people counted in the outflow may still be picking up shifts within Williams Lake. So we're steadily having more inflow than outflow. And despite the number of new hires dropping, it's because the percentage of our vacancies is also dropping. So I'll portray the data in a slightly different way on the next slide, please. That really, I think folks that have been around this table for a while will be a little bit stunned. If you remember when I first started presenting in the spring of 2024, we were at the 21% vacancy rate. So I'm very, very pleased to see this number continue to improve. And so our current vacancy for Williams Lake as a whole is 14.9%. How that compares to IH-wide, it is still higher, but I feel very, very relieved to be able to say that 85% of our lines are filled. We do remain most challenged in our emergency department with our emergency department nursing. That is probably the hottest ticket to hold as a nurse, and therefore definitely a lot of choice for nursing. We've been augmenting then our vacant nursing lines using a program called Go Health, which is a travel nursing program, as well as making good use of agency, which is why you've seen our service interruptions all but cease. Next slide, please. So just one last way to depict the number of filled versus vacant. So filled is in turquoise, vacant is in orange. On the left is all Williams Lake Interior Health Services, and on the right is specifically Cariboo Memorial. So again, very, very steady, but overall, pleased to see that number come out of the 20s and into the teens. And I really hope by the time we open, I can crack that 10% and 90% filled line. So with that, we'll proceed to the next slide. And our final slide is I was asked specifically around, we did end a youth contract with Access Services. It was an outreach mobile service for youth. One of the reasons we ended it is that we've added substantial resource to really address more proactively our substance use issues by targeting our youth population. So supporting day treatment through that program, as well as adding 2 youth substance use clinicians. And then there's a 5-member team that does youth intensive case management. So in addition to nursing, they have life skills workers, Indigenous peer support, a team lead, and a mental health and substance use clinician. So the volumes that Access were seeing were actually quite low, only 40% of what we had hoped that contract would do. So for two reasons, being able to bring those services in-house was a good reason for us to take a look at that contract and decide that we could manage the volumes that they were doing within our in-house resources. So that's the final slide, and happy to take any questions on what we presented today. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much, Karen, and I'll go through the list. I got Councillor Delaney, please, Councillor Flashfuller, Councillor Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much for joining us again this evening to present some data. I didn't see in the data, and you don't have to answer this evening, just something to think about the next time you come in. I'm wondering where we're at with the numbers with those patients that are unattached. I haven't had a doctor for 4 years now, and I did register, and I got an email, a few months ago that said I was still on the list, which I was glad that I was in the system. But the reason that it kind of came into my mind was I understand, Dr. Newhoff, that you will be retiring from your practice here. I have some friends that are your patients, and they're very sad that you're going to be closing your practice, but they're also very concerned. They're seniors, and they've got some health issues. They will be registering. So we're going to gain on one end, but we're going to lose on another end. And I'm just curious as to know if we are able to bring in some more GPs to open up practices, because we still have that big list of unattached patients. I do want to say kudos for the primary care clinic. It's an excellent clinic. I have used it multiple times now. There's no lineups. I go there at 5 o'clock, and for treatment, my daughter needed to have a wart removed, which was no big deal. And it was wonderful. It was really great. I also sought out some services for myself. I asked some questions and was told that I could actually come in and get some medical care in that way. But I do have concerns with another practice being closed, a bunch more people being on that list. And is there any discussion, or what are we doing to ensure that patients that have chronic, or they're seniors, or they've got cancer, or some sort of treatment that needs to be cared for, what are we doing to ensure that those people at least have access? Like for myself personally, I like the tiered look at it. I don't access services unless I absolutely have to. I'm fairly healthy, knock on wood, keep my health that way. But I do have some concern for those that have chronic issues and seniors in our community, and that big list of unattached people. Thank you.
You want to respond?
No, thank you. I do. I'm going to just thank you for the question and the concept of priority access for those amongst our population that are, battling chronic illness and chronic disease. And in fact, we met today to really look at how we can improve that. I do, Jacques, want to pass it to you, and I do have the data that was prepared by the division. And so if I can ask you to put your division hat on, I'm happy to put that on the screen.
Yes, you're welcome to. I don't have the data myself at the tip of my finger, so if you have it, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I've just sent requests to be able to share, so we'll see if I'm able to. Thank you.
Okay, you okay, Councillor Delaney, or anything more coming? Oh, I see. They're getting the data. Yeah.
There's your attachment for Williams
there you
Lake
go.
based on September 15th, 2025.
I'm going to leave it for a sec, that you can read through the numbers, and I would like to just answer on a personal aspect, and then also more broadly for the community. And it is unfortunately true that I am closing my clinic. It has been a long time decision that I had to make because of increasing demands on other aspects of healthcare within the community. The small positive that I can share is that I'm not leaving the community, but unfortunately I am leaving primary care in order to help serve the community as a broad, more in a leadership aspect, but also within the GP anesthesia demands within the hospital. So that's a big reason behind it. It is unfortunate, and it's an unfortunate situation that the current healthcare setting is built as such that there's not equal accessibility for all. And I can promise you that it is a passion of mine and a lot of people that we are working with within the health authority and the interior rural divisions to improve equal access and equitable access to all. And that is one of the reasons why I have stepped away to put more energy and time into that as well. You're completely correct in what you've said, that there's no net gain in currently with people coming in and people leaving if we look at unattachment of patients. And that is something that needs to be addressed and that we are currently addressing. We do not have a magic recipe, and unfortunately no community out there has that recipe, otherwise we would have copied and pasted. But we are trying to look at more innovative ways in not only recruiting, as I said earlier, but retention as well, as retention has been noted to be very key in effect recruiting more people, because if your physicians and staff are happy that are working, that those that are working here, they are easier to recruit into it as well. So just a little bit why I'm leaving, and also as to what we are doing in the community.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Just out of curiosity, how many patients did you have in your practice?
748.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And Councillor Flashfuller, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you again for coming in, all of you, for coming in this evening. I really appreciate it. And I once again, really appreciate the updates, because in these roles, we are always getting these grumblings from the community. So it's really nice to see the data and the facts in front of us. So that kind of answers it for us. And then hopefully that can be continued to the community. A couple things that I've had, that feedback on is how they have gone into the UPCC, and it was just virtual care, and that seems to be the only thing and not the in-person. So I really appreciate seeing those statistics and that data that's showing, the difference with how much is virtual care, because that's all it takes is one person that's really vocal in that, and then that becomes the information that goes out to a community. So thank you so much for clarifying that. Another thing that I've had some feedback from community members on is this wonderful new hospital that we're getting, but is there gonna be more parking than that one section that has been developed for visitors? Because I've been there to take my mom in for, lab work, and it's like full all the time already, and we're not even fully operational. So I'm not sure if you guys are privy to the details, but I'm not sure of how much more of parking is going to be established on site, and I'm curious if there is. So otherwise, thank you so
So how
much.
dare I do an update without a parking update? That's a miss on my part, because that's absolutely the first question we always get asked. I know there is an increase of parking with the new build to the degree of being able to articulate the number. Kelly, I know you're in the audience. If you know the number, great. If not, let's commit to actually getting that out for messaging.
Okay, thanks. So there will be more than what we're seeing right now, is what you're saying, Karen?
And it won't require a 3-point turn to get out of as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Nelson.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen, for the update. Very much appreciated. Certainly some good news items attached to the updates on this. Thank you, Dr. Knopf, for all that you do for the community, and certainly for staying in our community for the long term. We appreciate it very much. My question and my colleague kind of alluded to where I was going to go tonight, was with regards to local doctors. When you talk about the unattached population, that number of 2,400, when I'm reading it and I'm understanding that, Karen, that means that they have to be registered in the health portal to be a part of that process. So if they're not registered, then they're outside the big picture.
They're not counted, that's right.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I just echo my colleagues' comments, but really good news tonight. Thank you.
That's it? Man, we get away pretty easy, Karen. Anything from Council Bain, please?
Yeah, thanks for the update. I mean, I still see in my office unattached all the time, and still super frustrating when I don't feel there's a lot of use of other practitioners. So, for instance, I'm a chiropractor, right? So I'm going to, reiterate that we still don't even have access to films, imaging. This has been asked repeatedly. Same with physio. Anybody that's not attached to the hospital has no access. And so in this time when I might be their primary physician, it's hard. I just want to reiterate, there's never good use of other providers, in my opinion. But I also hear that there's often not doctors, so I get that one too. So it's nice to hear if there is, and so the unattached. I mean, yeah, I mean, I have stories of people being in braces and not getting follow-up from emergency to take when to take the brace off, like that's just, there's just some frustrations. And I know we're trying to stay positive, but I'm also going to bring up, it's a little concerning for us to hear of the mass exodus of the culture. And I just really hope that the culture is being looked at and addressed at Interior Health, because hearing about mass resignations and more, all the time, it's getting to be a little harsh for a lot of our clientele as well.
So thank you for your comments, Councillor Bain, and your support in making sure the folks that come to you around being unattached are connected to that healthcare registry. I forgot to mention with our urgent primary care center that we have hired a new physiotherapist. So access to physio will be supported through the urgent primary care center. So thank you for highlighting that. That happens to be the profession that I trained in. So it's near and dear to my heart. To your comment around the culture and the mass exodus, I really hope that the data we shared tonight, shows that it's actually more of an influx than an exodus. But despite, that small point, you do have a point around it is incumbent upon us to continue to improve the culture in that building. I feel like it is. I think there's a lot of excitement around the new build and the new tower. We're working all the time. I don't know if you had a chance to catch our Halloween decorate the recycle bin, and just trying to bring those kind of fun social activities into the workplace. I'll finish by saying someone kindly texted me the number of new parking spaces. Well, you were raising your question, and it is 71 new. So that's quite an increase in parking at the site. Thank you.
Yes, and I did share the post with the winner of the recycling.
Great.
Anything from Councillor Lyons, please? Thank you. I can see, go ahead, second time, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one quick thing. Because you guys are online and you had mentioned it earlier, I would be interested for sure in a tour if it's feasible down the road. So that's all that I was
going to bring it that, but anyway. Thanks from me. I can see you had a hell of a staff, Karen. I can see their work, and even they're sitting in the audience, and good information available. Thank you, both of you here physically. My first question was the tour, if council member wanted, along with the regional district director, I suppose we can arrange that, Karen, tour for the council member? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
So let's put that request forward. Yeah.
Thank you. I send it to me, the information, or I'll get it to the regional district. I'll forward to the council member whenever it come. In reference to what you said, I'm really delighted. We have taken almost 3 years, how far we have come, building the relation, working together collaboratively. I tell you, yesterday and Sunday, I take officially 3 hours off a week, 10 to 1 when I go to worship and washing my sins off weekly. And first thing Sunday, somebody I met and they made my day. So it was yesterday. Holy smoke, man, whatever you doing? We went to the emergency. We never seen 3 doctors. We was in and out in 20 minutes. I said, what else you want? And usually you don't get those kind of positive news, you know. And that's my point. But thank you very much, Karen, for your leadership, your team, and whatever you people are doing, keep doing. And I really personally appreciate. And you know, in the primary care, no question, had made a big difference on the emergency. Every time I get a chance, I go there, and every time I see the thumbs up from the emergency people, because the big burden taken off from the emergency. Now, I had a question, it could be a tough one. Chamber of Commerce met a few months back, and they appointed the committee. It's called a Recruitment and Retention Program. And I signed up for the committee, and along with our economic development manager, and we had a meeting today, and there was a big question asked there. There's so much positivity in your presentation today. What are we, if any, doing, IHA doing to send this positive news? What are we doing? I need to hear from you.
Oh, it's a great question. And I'm going to put Angie on the spot in the room. It's great to have locals in the room with you, both our director and communications. But I think, you know, one of the strategies we've had around communications is to be sharing celebrations, not just crisis response communications. And so, you know, we've started with that at the site itself with a newsletter going around. But I hope you've seen in your local media more positive stories about the healthcare system. So, you know, there is an intention to do that, Mayor. And we know that as you change the narrative, success begets success. And, you know, people do comment on the narrative changing, and I think that supports our recruitment and retention. Is there more we can do? Probably. And so, you know, we'll take that under advisement. And you know, what can we do to continue to market that Williams Lake is a great place to live and work?
Thank you. I really appreciate it, because a lot of people ask me, and I'm no different, and because positive news is never enough to go out. I want to hear, I want to send the signal out. But Karen, thank you very much for your leadership, your team, and I couldn't be more thankful the relation we have built, the hard work you and your team have done. Yes, like you said, are we there where we was? No, we are definitely not there. Have we reached where we wanted to be? Definitely not. We got a long way to go. Keep working. Hats off. If there's anything council can do, I can tell you the senior SMT, we call it, staff members in the city hall and the council, I can speak on behalf of everybody. They're there. We are trying our best at council level to eliminate the reasons for recruitment and retention. A good example was a couple of your doctors 3 years back left. I personally went to talk to them. They was Muslim faith or worshiping people. First thing they asked me was, Mayor, we can sign off our life on William Lake, built us a place to worship. How could I do that? Sunday night, the Muslim community in the Central Cariboo had a big fundraising dinner. 3 of my colleagues along with me, we was there, and they raised so much money. It's hard for me to explain. One of the persons said, I'll donate 0.25% of my total wealth. They haven't released the number yet, but they given me the rough number. And my colleagues, both of them were there. They donated at the best of their ability. I donated the best of my ability. We are doing, this is, for example, for you. And there was a couple doctors from the particular faith group there. I kind of bugged them. I hope you got no reason to leave Williams Lake. And they couldn't answer to me, no. They said, you're correct, we cannot leave now. So my point is, council is doing everything we can to retain these professionals in Williams Lake. Thank you very much once again, and we have spent enough time on this. Thank you very
Move
much.
receipt of the public presentation.
Yes, moved and received information publicly. All in favor? Thank you very much once again.
Okay, have a
Appreciate
good
it. Callie,
night.
my
Thank you.
apology not mentioning your name. I should have done that. I'm sorry. Thanks. I want to stay in good books. And I've known Angie for years, so I can never forget her name. But okay, next item, Nicole Brandt and Ms. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming, taking the time. And council requested you to come out. Thank you. Floor is all your please.
Is that it? Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
please.
That was a great presentation, and I think it ties in well as well with seeing the construction here, which makes me happy. As a guest here today, thank you, Mayor, Council, for having me here today. I'd like to acknowledge that I am a guest today on the unceded territory of the Secwepemc people, and I also acknowledge that my home office is situated in Prince George on the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli T'enneh. First, before I get into my presentation, I just want to give a quick update. As we know, the federal budget was released today, and in relation to construction, I just wanted to add a few highlights. The budget did heavily target infrastructure, housing, defense, and workforce training, which is all very important to our industry. And we're very excited as a group to see how this unfolds and supports our provinces and our municipalities. Okay, so just to get into my presentation, again, my name is Nicole Bryant. I'm the CEO of the Northern Regional Construction Association. I'm proud to present the construction industry here in Williams Lake today, as this is part of the region that I work in. I represent currently about 225 construction firms and all across Northern BC. We are the largest geographical region, construction association region in all of Canada. So we take that very, very pridefully. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the opportunities and the challenges that face the construction industry today, and how NRCA partners with local municipalities to support growth through fair, transparent, and timely procurement and project delivery. Slide 2. Just talking a little bit about our role. Again, we represent hundreds of contractors through Northern BC. Our role is to advocate for fair and consistent project delivery and procurement practices. We help employers access skilled workforce and promote collaboration between industry and municipalities. Our mission is simple: build resilient northern communities by strengthening and supporting the construction sector that builds them. We see municipalities as essential partners in this mission because your policies, your infrastructure plans, your procurement practices directly shape the opportunities available to our local businesses and workers. Next slide, please. Construction remains one of the largest economic engines in our region. It is the #1 employer in BC's goods sector and contributes about 10% to the province's GDP. In the north, a total value of construction projects, and I'm going to switch a little bit because since I presented this slide, we've had new data. Sorry. So currently in Northern BC, there are a value of projects in all of BC is 158 billion. 64 billion of those projects are currently in Northern BC. The value of proposed projects is 174 billion in BC, and 87 billion of that is in our region. So it just shows how powerful our region is currently. So most of the construction companies that operate here in our region are small, locally owned businesses, and over 92% have fewer than 20 employees. So these small firms employ local residents, reinvest in their communities, pay taxes, and keep dollars circulating in our regional economy. Next slide, please. As mentioned, Northern BC is home to some of the most significant infrastructure and energy products in the country. LNG Canada and Kitimat is progressing into phase 2, which will double capacity and extend local benefits. And the proposed Kitsillium's LNG project, valued at around $20 billion, represents one of the largest Indigenous-led energy projects in Canada. The Coastal GasLink pipeline is now operational, connecting Northern BC to the coast, and Site C Dam is also operational, bringing long-term energy capacity to our region. These major projects create ripple effects, increased housing demand, and pressure on municipal infrastructure, and the need for fair, efficient local procurement to keep pace with that growth. Next slide, please. With this activity, the pressure on our workforce continues to grow. There are more than 14,000 unfilled construction jobs in BC today. That number is expected to rise to 25,000 in 2034. Only about 5% of our trades workforce currently is female, which highlights the need for more inclusive recruitment and training pathways. We also know that women leave the industry at a higher rate than men. At NRCA partnership with the BC Construction Association, we support employers through programs like STEP, which connects job-ready candidates to work in northern communities, and Builder's Life, which focuses on mental health and wellness in construction workplaces. Stable, predictable procurement helps keep these workers employed locally and builds community. Next slide. Some of the biggest challenges right now that we are facing in the construction industry is the erosion of fair procurement practices. We have seen some public owners, including a few municipalities, starting to remove what's known as Contract A from their tender documents. Contract A has been the foundation of procurement in Canada for over 40 years. Removing it eliminates the legal obligation for owners to treat bidders fairly and equally. That means contractors can no longer assume a level playing field, which leads to fewer bids, higher project costs, and the loss of trust between owners and industry. Next slide. To give you a little context, Contract A was established through a Supreme Court decision on engineering in 1981. It clarified that when an owner issues a tender, a binding or bidding contract is created with each compliant bidder. This ensures fairness and transparency and equal treatment during the bidding process. Once a bidder is selected, Contract B, the actual construction contract, takes effect. For decades, this framework has protected both municipalities and contractors by providing the clear rules and accountability for public procurement. It's important to note that one of the common misconceptions that I've been hearing is that Contract A forces the tender authority to enter into Contract B, which is not true. If the bids received do not meet the project's requirements, for example, budget constraints, scope concerns, the owner is not obligated to proceed with Contract B. Contract A simply ensures that all compliant bidders are treated fairly and consistently during the tendering process. Next slide. So why is it important for Mayor and Council to hear this message? The reason why municipal leaders should care about this procurement law is because procurement decisions reflect governance and integrity and stewardship of public funds. When fairness is compromised, the consequences ripple through communities and fewer contractors bid and project costs rise, and local businesses can be left out. Beyond that, municipalities can face reputational risks if procurement is perceived as biased or inconsistent. And now, with prompt payment legislation coming into force, municipalities must ensure that their procurement and payment processes are aligned to maintain compliance and public trust. Next slide. A little bit about prompt payments. So prompt payment legislation, known as the Prompt Payment Act, or Bill 20, was introduced October 7th of 2025. This has been after decades of advocacy by the BC Construction Association and the Northern Construction Association. It's a major step forward to ensure that contractors and subcontractors are paid on time, which improves cash flow and reduces disputes. We believe it will also strengthen late payment, which has long been a barrier to project delivery, especially for small businesses. This legislation will help protect and stay on schedule and keep local workers employed. It also aligns BC with other provinces that already have prompt payment laws in place, ensuring consistency across Canada. Currently, we have heard the second reading in the BC legislature, and we hope to receive royal assent soon. Next slide. And what does this mean for municipalities? The legislation means reviewing how your departments handle payments. You'll need to ensure that payment timelines and contract clauses align with new provincial framework, and by adopting these requirements early, municipalities can avoid disputes and strengthen collaboration and relationships with contractors and enhance public trust in their processes. NRCA can support by reviewing your contract templates and helping your teams prepare for compliance. Next slide. The current construction environment is challenging. Rising material and interest costs are squeezing project budgets, and we're seeing a shift towards climate resilient and low carbon construction, particularly in the north, where temperature extremes and environmental conditions demand innovation. At the same time, the federal and provincial governments are accelerating project approvals, which means municipalities need to respond more quickly in planning, permitting, and procurement. The message here is that municipalities must adapt procurement systems to be faster, fairer, and more accountable. Next slide. NRCA is here to support your municipalities through every step of the way. We can help you review project or procurement templates, ensure compliance with Contract A and prompt payment laws, and offer training and workshops for staff and council on fair procurement and tendering and best practices. We can also share insights on local workforce capacity, project readiness, and regional construction trends. Our goal here is to ensure that every public dollar spent contributes directly to northern economic growth and community well-being. Next slide. So here's what we're asking. First, review your project or your procurement templates for Contract A language. Second, begin prompt payment readiness and assessment across all departments. Third, partner with NRCA to review policies, train staff, and align project delivery, fair and balanced contract risk transfer with best practices. And attendance at our annual Build the North conference is a great way to stay informed in what's happening in the industry. Also to add, BC Construction Association hosts owners-only sessions and to help educate public owners as well. And finally, commit to championing transparency and fairness with local participation. Next slide. So just in closing, I want to leave you with this thought that Northern BC is growing faster than ever. These opportunities are ours to capture. Fair procurement, prompt payment, and strong municipal and industry partnerships will determine how much of that opportunity stays local. NRCA is ready to work alongside you, not just as an advocate, but as a partner. We welcome your questions and ideas on how we can strengthen your community's capacity and ensure we're building the North together. I just want to note that there were QR codes up on the last slide. And those are QR codes that can directly take you to BCCA's website for, there we go. Oh, there we go. So there are topics and information there where you can find Q&A or FAQs on the Prompt Payment Legislation, Prompt Payment Act, as well as myths, common myths, and register for the next session for owners only. Thank you for your time tonight.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of the council and the community, Ms. Bryant, coming over with your friend. And we really appreciate the update. Quite often, the question is asked, and when we open the tender, how the prices are going up, what's happening, what not. None of my colleagues, including me, we are not experts in any of the field. We use common sense. But you coming up and giving us all the update, I personally appreciate it, and sorry to keep you waiting. Councillor Nelson and Councillor Fleischfelder.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Thank you, Nicole, for the update. And we appreciate very much what your organization does, the Northern Regional Contractors Association, or Construction Association. Sue used to sit on, a former city councillor, a very prominent business person, and so she often kept us up to date in terms of a lot of different things that were taking place. And the Contract A form was an important one, and I can tell you this community is not going to be looking like other communities to go away from it. I think it kind of creates a formation of a contract. It puts the key terms in place on it. It puts the bidding obligations in place, and of course what it does do is it puts the owner's obligations in there as well. So we use it whether we're doing RFPs, requests for proposals, or ITTs. We use it in that, and also in the request for qualification. So we find it actually provides certainty as a community and provides stability. I actually support the provincial government with regards to their prompt payment legislation. It removes a lot of red tape and de-stresses it for the business community, so I support that. We also recognize that you don't have to have 500 employees. We know that small business makes up the majority of the economic engines in Northern British Columbia. Your stats alone very well indicated how much money the North brings into the province as a whole. It's huge, it's gigantic, it's significant, it's almost 50%. So it's a significant amount of construction that is taking place, and it's only going to get better. And we see it. You heard tonight, just from the billing of the hospital and the construction, it's on time, it's under control. The good thing is that there's 61 more jobs that are going to be created when that's finalized and built. That's 61 more houses that we're going to need in Williams Lake. That's an additional multi-million-dollar payroll that's going to be added to our community. So we see good things on the horizon, and you've only added more to what we think is going to happen in northern British Columbia, and especially Williams Lake. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. I do appreciate your comments on the contract A. We do notice and acknowledge that the city of Williams Lake is very good in their procurement practices, and we just want to continue those efforts. And the ripple effect that you also mentioned, we don't end with construction, we begin with construction. And I think sometimes our industry forgets that. We walk away from a job and we go on to the next, but we don't realize how many jobs are then created, how many houses are built, and what comes after. So thank you for those comments.
Just a quick note is that we're honestly blessed because we've got one of the best COOs in the province, Gary. He came from the industry itself, so he understands it. So, you know, not only did the schooling help, but he had hands-on training. And when we're out looking around for individuals that add capacity, that makes a big difference because it saves you a lot of money in the long term.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
And by the way, thank you very much for your compliment. City is good. It's not only the city hall, the whole community is one of the best in Canada, trust me. Councillor Flatchfeller, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. I just wanted to also say thank you for coming in and giving us a presentation. So it's great information. I'm just curious, how many municipalities have you seen that have gotten away from contract A? You don't have to list them, but I'm just curious, like what kind of percentage or how many?
I don't
Thank
have
you.
the stats province-wide, but there are 3 bad offenders in our region. Yeah.
Kelowna, Prince George, BC Housing. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Councillor, no, before Councillor, CEO, please.
Excuse me. Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for the presentation. Just a quick question. When you're saying they're getting away from the contract A's, are they using privilege clauses? Or are they using the basically RFP processes or qualification of bidders? Like, what are they using to get away from the contract A?
So-
because any compliant bid forms a contract A.
There is language in some procurement documents, specifically in RFPs, that say exclusion of contract A. So they are saying that there is a specific exclusion to contract A written right in the language. I don't have an example of that language in front of me right now. I can find it. But it does say that there is an explicit removal of contract A within the contract language.
Yeah. No, the City of Williams Lake does not do that.
No, and I do
basically-
have noticed. Yeah.
We will use the CCDC documents and we'll use the MMCD documents religiously, and we do not stray from those because those keep us out of trouble.
That's music to my ears.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Delaney, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I attended a Chamber of Commerce, I think, luncheon probably 8 years ago, and we had the head of the Northern Construction Association came and talked about the mass exodus from trades and how much trouble we're going to be in here pretty quick. It seems to be like we're already in trouble and we're going for more trouble by 2034. Do you work with post-secondary or senior secondaries at all to talk about trades? And I mean, I personally believe that we need to start offering free programming for kids, or for people that are interested, anybody who's interested in becoming a tradesperson or a doctor or a nurse, to start paying for some education and making sure that there's actually seats for them. We don't have that here for our TRU. I know it's Councillor Bain has fought really hard, and this table's fought really hard for the last decade to try to make sure that we have a program that's you know, we can do 4 years. But same as with the trades, like we've got, you know, you can take what your first and second year construction here at TRU. I think you can take like a welding certificate, but we don't have a full Red Seal program. And I think that's something that we need to look at, and I don't know how we advocate that, or if we have, you know, associations like yourself that are presenting these stats and talking to these organizations to say, we need to start opening up some of these seats and making sure that people get into these programs and make it available so that if you don't want to do an academic program, by grade 10, you can hop into a trades program, and by the, you know, by the time you're graduated, you're halfway through your Red Seal. I'd love to see that. The other question I had is this contract A, who decided that it could be arbitrarily removed?
There is a construction lawyer based out of Ontario who has been advising municipalities all across Canada that the need for contract A is, or that there is no need for contract A. It's unfair to the bidders, and there is a lot of fallout that happens with the removal of contract A. Again, we can pinpoint it to one particular firm who a lot of municipalities are now getting construction documents or construction contract drafts from instead of using the CCDC ones that was mentioned earlier. So it's something that we're well aware of and we're advocating for. But I can say Infrastructure BC is an organization that does procurement for multi-billion-dollar projects all across BC. They do the procurement for most hospitals, road, and massive infrastructure throughout BC, and they will never advocate for the removal of Contract A. So if we're looking at multi-billion-dollar projects that can't have the removal of Contract A, we don't feel $1 million project or a $100,000 project or a $500,000 project should either.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I mean, I work for the province, do contract management. We have a procurement team, so I basically fill an NRS form and attach all the stuff, and somebody else does it. But it's good to see. It's good to hear that we're not seeing that at the higher levels. But I think it's a good caution for sure for the rest of the world that's thinking that they found a loophole that probably is just going to get them into trouble.
Yes, and we have had some work around the language of the CAMP document, which I'm sure you're familiar with, in hoping that we can get that language across a little bit more firmly. Again, to address your earlier question as well, I am working with high schools right now. We launched a program in Prince George, a pilot program earlier this year called Discovery Trades with CNC. We are doing a second year of that program, and we're hoping to expand that program into the regions as well. We have worked with TRU in the past. We do have a significant endowment fund with TRU providing bursaries to trades training here in Williams Lake on this campus. So that's something that we do work with as well, and we would like to work closer with TRU for the training. We also have a program that we're going to be rolling out in the new year, which actually targets elementary schools. So I'm going to be looking at elementary schools and school districts all through our region, and we're going to be looking at a fundraising campaign to get these kits. It's called Honor the Work, and we're looking to get Honor the Work into classrooms. Right now, budgets are so constrained for school districts that they don't have the money to invest in this curriculum, so we are going to invest in it for them.
If you want to send me your contacts, I'm chair for the school district. I would love to pass along the information.
Yep, then we should chat for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Excellent.
Councillor Beam or Councillor Ann, any question, comment? Thank you. I know, just for Councillor Drainage information, we used to have a career development program in School District 27 because when I was at work, I used to go as an electrician and taught the classes, for a day or two. Don't they have it now or they?
We do, yeah, 1 year, and we do have like heavy metal rocks, and we've got a couple different things, but it's not to the magnitude I think that we need to be at.
I see. Thanks, because I've gone to 100 Mile and here. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you very much once again for the presentation, and we appreciate it. And if you want, you can email your contact to Mr. Cope so that Councillor Delaney can have it, please.
I will, absolutely. Thank you much for your having me here tonight.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So nice of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cope, please.
The recommendation that the presentation from Nicole Bryant, Northern Regional Construction Association, regarding an overview of the state of construction in Northern BC, including trends, challenges, and opportunities, be received for information.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor. Opposed, if any, carried unanimously. Well, moving along, general government, the check, please.
The recommendation that the accounts payable, computer check, and EFT listings dated October 23rd and 30th, 2025 be received for information.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, any question, concern? Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed, if any, carried unanimously. Well, we are moving to development permit application, reference to 03/2025. Just for council information, we had the developer online. If there's any question, I'm not going to bring him considering the time. Not going to bring him to do anything. It's a straightforward. If council have any question, we will bring them on board. Staff, please.
So, Your Worship, there is a public opportunity to speak.
Yeah, I was wondering if you want to read the recommendation.
So the recommendation that pursuant to the report of the planner dated October 16th, 2025, council approved the development permit number 3, 2025 for MQN Architects on behalf of FortisBC Energy Inc. to permit the construction of a replacement storage shelter and to vary section 313.3 of the City of Williams Lake zoning bylaw number 1825, 2002 to decrease the minimum setback along the rear lot line from 1.5 meters to 0 meters for this property only, located at 16 Broadway Avenue North.
Moved and seconded. Now it's opportunity for the public, if anybody wanted to speak for or against hearing or seeing nobody in the gallery, but still, this is the process. This is the process we have to go through, and I will call the first time, opportunity for anybody, second time, third and last time. Opportunity closed, and the council have received the recommendation. Any question or debate from the council member, please? Hearing none, all in favor? Thank you. Carried unanimously. Thank you, sir, being available. We appreciate it. You let go easy. NDIT grant application.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Manager of Economic Development dated October 23rd, 2025, council approve an application to the 2026 Northern Development Initiative Trust NDIT Business Facade Improvement Program in the amount of $20,000.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. This is a regular application. We've been doing it just quite a while now. We've been doing this program from NDIT. The city has helped a lot of business locally, and that's what the economic development manager wants. Once again, she's putting the application on. Moved and seconded. Any question, concern? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried unanimously. UBCM grant application for emergency support services. Again, there's no different. We have done in the past. And Mr. Dixon wanted to do it again because he can help to the people, please. Staff.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Director of Emergency Support Services dated October 27, 2025, council approve a 2026 application for the Union of BC Municipalities Community Emergency Preparedness Fund Emergency Support Services Equipment and Training Program for up to $30,000 to enhance the capacity of the local emergency support services team.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any question, concern? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. And Public Works, next one is Cariboo Fire Response Agreement.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Director of Protective Services dated October 24th, 2025, council directs staff to pursue the establishment of a fire services mutual aid agreement between the City of Williams Lake, the District of 100 Mile House, and the City of Quesnel, specifically in response to a large fire incidents that overwhelm existing services.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. This is the first time we're doing it. We had this understanding and agreement, but it's nice to have a house in order, have everything on a piece of paper. And these things will kick in something like River Valley Fire or big one when we need it, rather than getting provincial government or anybody involved. If we have the agreement, we don't have to go through the third party, and we can bring them. Councillor Nelson and Councillor Fleischfelder.
Well, I support this initiative. Thanks very much, Chief Dean. This is something that I think we learned through experience, and really what we're doing is to create a cooperative framework with 100 Mile House and Quesnel that under, a major emergency, we already have one, I think, with 150 and Wildwood Fire Department as well. This just goes to a larger degree in terms of emergencies. If you remember when we had the fire back in July of 2024, we actually, because of the escalation of that fire so quickly, we had to actually go to our neighboring communities and call them in, and we ran into some issues. And I think what the fire chief is trying to do here is to create that framework that will remove a lot of red tape and create an agreement that we can assist them or they can assist us. So I think it's the right thing to do at the right time. especially with the magnitude of how quickly things can escalate. So good work, and I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fleischfelder.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, this is just great proactive work. This is awesome and probably should have been done a long time ago. So I think it is, as we see these continual changes with climate change and the amount of wildfires that we're seeing, along with other type of large events that we may have, just having that support of other larger agencies, like, you know, huge shout out to 150 Mile and Wildwood and the support. Like, I've been in those scenes where we're utilizing them. That's amazing, but that still is a limited amount of resources for a really large emergency. And we know, Evan, you and I, how long it takes sometimes through those provincial networks to get what you need. So I think this is great proactive work. Compliments to all of you guys and your team. Absolutely. It's great. You have my support as well. Thank you.
Any comment from Councilor Delaney, Beam, or Lyon? Well, thank you very much from my office, Chief Dean, and it's never too late. Whenever we can fix our issues, it's always the right time. Thank you for good job, good report. Keep up the good work. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Agreement with the ICBC.
Recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Director of Municipal Services dated October 23rd, 2025, Council enter into a 3-year agreement with ICBC to formalize the use of the parking stalls for ICBC's Class 1 and 3 truck testing at the Stampede grounds.
Second.
Moved and second. This is the same thing. It's already happening. And the staff have already spoken to the Courtney Smith, the chair of the Stampede Association. And it's just bringing the people to test parking or anything. It's again house cleanup. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And bylaw highway closure, please.
Clerks note that the approval of the Ministry of Transportation and Transit dated October 23rd, 2025 be received, and the City of Williams Lake Highway Closure and Removal of Highway Dedication Bylaw number 2431, 2025 be reconsidered and adopted.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. This is a reference to the home hardware. We did close that lane there. And thanks to the Ministry of Highway and Department, and they done very quickly. They responded. I've never seen this quick, and especially having the staff on strike and everything. The managers, the people really work pretty quick, and the staff's very happy. Any question, comment other than that? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Please, indoor multisport.
Committee recommendation that pursuant to the Committee of the Whole Council Report number 31, 2025, the presentation from Brian Hansen at the Indoor Multi-Sport Turf Facility Working Group regarding a request for an indoor multi-sport turf facility be received for information, and that council support the project, and further that the mayor be asked to create a committee to guide the project moving forward with the support of staff.
Moved and seconded, please.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Everything's good other than the little last couple lines. And we had a good discussion at the staff level or SMT level. So Mr. Maraca going to explain us a few things and for the appointment of the committee, please.
Thanks, Your Worship. So I was not here for the committee of the whole meeting, as everybody's aware, but the last bit of this where the mayor be asked to create a committee to guide the project moving forward with the support of staff, this really belongs at the joint tables. So this has to be, in our opinion, as staff, as well as I'm sure the regional district will feel the same way, much like the pool and everything that we've done to date should be going to the regional district to joint. And then, of course, having our involvement as key stakeholders and regular updates to the committee. Staff is working on a report for a joint committee coming up here in a couple of weeks that will probably suggest that a politician and a staff member from each board be involved with getting the user groups together and reporting to the relevant boards. So I really don't think this should be on the City of Williams Lake, nor do we have the capacity to do the work to lead the charge on this. But of course, we're going to be at the table going forward for any kind of discussions.
Councilor Nelson.
Yes, that does make sense, and I'll certainly nominate the mayor to sit on the committee on our behalf once that committee is struck at the joint level. I think it's a community regional project, and I I see exactly where you're coming from, is that we need to have everybody at the plate to hit the home run on this. So I'll be supportive of that, and we'll obviously be including the Cariboo Regional District and perhaps the First Nations as well. This is a big project. It's a good project, and it's a project that we need for our community. So I'll be supporting the recommendation in front of us.
You said it very well, Councillor Nelson, and we was talking. I have called and spoken to after discussion with the CEO and me. I've called a couple regional district directors, a member of the joint. They're very much in favor. I like to see, and we will have the discussion. I like to see the school board on the table. I like to see the members from the public at large. I like to see the people from the First Nation, because it's not going to be limited to City of Williams Lake only. And let's have all the people together, as this council has a unwritten traditional vision, working together collaboratively. That will prove the gain. Once we have those people involved, they would have the ownership. That's my philosophy. That's my thoughts. So I'm glad Mr. CEO could put us back on the right track, and that's sometimes I wonder why he get paid big money. And thank you very much, sir. And I'll be definitely
At this rate, we keep giving him kudos, he's going to want to raise.
Oh, we will talk about that later. Councilor Flaxwiller, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I am just so happy to finally see some forward movement on trying to build up and work that extra mile on getting more recreation created for this community. Enough talk, let's have some action. So I'm super excited to see that this is being put together. I know in the past, I've always spoken about trying to have committees for park recreation and culture, but it's always seemed to be a bit of a challenge. So I'm really happy to see this come to the table for our community, because it's one of the things that I've always been hopeful for. Thanks.
Yeah, when I went to door 2022, I promised the community I'll look at it, because I have no knowledge what's happening with the council is, with the city hall is. And it was one of the highest priority. Most of you know, it would have been done in November, December 2022. We had almost agreement in place to do it, but in December 5th, we had the grant approved for the water and treatment, which was, I mean, I'm not saying the supports is less important, but the water was very, very important. We was under the gun from the IHA and the Health Canada, so we have to do that. And then staff or City Hall does not have the capacity like the Mr. Maraca just said it. So we put the horses on hold, and now it's coming up. And like I said the other day, Mr. Hansen meet with me quarterly. That guy never miss a beat, trust me. Brian Hansen never miss a day. He comes, bring all the people with him. When we was and meet with me, he want update quarterly from my office. When other day we had the open house here for the OCP, and you all seen how many people came, and it was one of the most required or most asked items single-handedly. So council is on board. That's the message. I wanted to send it to the community. Council unanimously is on board. Hopefully this joint budget is approved from the joint. The board has to approve. Once the board approves the budget, it will go next year to the feasibility. A lot of people ask me where we're going to put it. In simple term, there are going to be a number of questions. Question number one, do we need it? Yes, we, of course, everybody knows. Question number two, where are we going to put it? There's a number of options available to the community that feasibility study will bring in what option we had available, and every site with the pros and cons. How are we going to operate it? How are we going to build it? There's a number of questions. And when the time comes, we'll talk about it. But once the budget is approved, we will talk about, and we will go to the feasibility study. Feasibility study going to let us know, answer all those questions on the table. And who will be included in it, who not, we will all talk about. And it's a first baby step is feasibility study. That's where we are right now. and keep your finger crossed, and we will try our best to apply for the grant and whatever we can do, and we will have a little better study. So that's where we are. Thank you very much, everybody. Any more question, concern, comment? Hearing none, all in favor? 8, well, the amendment, the understanding same, I don't know if we need to amend.
So your
It
worship,
should
if
go to
the
the
intent
joint.
wants to say, instead of asking the mayor to create the committee, to request
Should
that
be taken to joint. Sure. Is a friendly amendment with mover and seconder, I suppose?
Friendly.
Thank you. Chad, that please, motion as amended. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And request for raising national Metis flag. Thank you, folks.
Clerks note that the letter from the Cariboo, Chilcotin Métis Association dated October 28, 2025 be received, and that council authorize the raising of the national Métis flag in honor of Louis Riel on November 16, 2025 on the city's flagpole pursuant to city policy.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor. Thank you. And the next one is a Hope Air request.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of Hope Air in their letter dated October 27, 2025, council authorized the mayor to sign a joint letter from Northern BC municipalities to the Minister of Health collectively supporting and advocating for the provincial government to continue funding the Hope Air medical travel support programs.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor. Carried. Proclamation, please.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of the Canadian Lung Screening Initiative dated October 29, 2025, the month of November 2025 be proclaimed as Lung Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Williams Lake pursuant to city policy.
Second.
Any question, concern? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried unanimously. In-camera item for public information, please.
The recommendation that the in-camera report number 2, 2025, together with the Accessibility Advisory Committee report number 2, 2025, regarding the appointment of Sherry Yonkman as a member of the Accessibility Advisory Committee be received for information.
So second.
Moved and seconded, and my understanding, Ms. Yonkman attended the first meeting today. Everybody was happy. Any comment from yourself, Council Lyon, please?
No, not. I just think that she's a good choice, especially with her association with the BIA. So it's always nice to get that extra information out. And today's discussion revolved a lot around downtown businesses and how we can upgrade and retrofit for things like accessible doors and ramps and washrooms and everything. So yeah, she's a good asset for that.
And thank you very much, Councillor Lyons, to represent the council on the Accessibility Committee. Keep up the good work, Councillor Lyon. All in favor? Carried, if any. And the late item, please.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, so I got an email today. Some of you might know, I'm on the Northern Medical Trust Board, and I took that on as a director, and they're calling the first meeting, and I got an email, so I probably wouldn't have even been on my radar, but they sent an email that the first meeting they're adding to the Natural Resource Forum, which normally most of us do not go to because it's the mayor does attend. At least he did last year. And but I have heard great things about it, and I would like to attend this meeting in person. So they usually help. This trust is one that most of you know help fund any of our medical staff, doctors, and it's meant to be for anyone in the region. And we're in the region, but the reason I wanted to be on the board is I feel like we're often the forgotten lower half of that region because interior health is not usually included. So I even had stated at meetings I was at that I feel my job there is to remind them that we're included in that and make sure now that I wasn't on NCLGA board anymore, I thought it was okay. But anyway, I would like to request that we allow anyone on council, I know that mayor is already going, but if anyone was interested in attending and it is early registration, just because I looked today, is November 7th. So we should let them know for early. The cost does go up substantially. It's already sold out for dinners and lunches. It's crazy, super popular. And I think that we are a northern resource town, like a natural, and it's very, I've heard great things about it. Not that I want to go the whole time, but I might do the workshop and the next day, maybe 1 day, 1 or 2 days. I'll decide but anyway, I'd like to make a motion that any of council that would like to attend, that we support them attending at the Natural Resource Forum.
So moved. Second, sorry.
Councillor Nelson moved it, and you seconded, please. Okay, Councillor seconded. I wholeheartedly support Councillor Beam. Have done an excellent job on the NCLJ, being all these boards and her involvement. rather than going for 1 day, I don't remember now, is it 2 day or 3 day?
I think.
Is it 3 day? My way of doing thing is when we go, why don't have somebody going or you going, go for the full 3 day? That way we can share the ride because the biggest cost would be ride. I'm just saying whatever council think. I think the authorization should be not for 1 day, authorization should be for the full convention.
In my case, your worship, I just can't afford to take 3 days off work.
Oh, I see.
So it's the cost. I would love to.
No, fair enough.
I just think that it costs me money to be off work. So I may do 1 or 2. I'll decide in the next couple days. But
Fair enough.
unlikely I'll stay to the end. Although I would love to. The information, it's not a not want to. It's I'd really like to make this meeting, so I'll attend enough to make it what I feel is worthwhile to go. But I don't feel I'll be taking the whole 3 or 4 days. But there might be others though.
Based on what you said, we might not be, then why don't we get the authorization of the full meeting?
whatever,
And then you can do whatever you wanted to, would that be
But
okay?
the motion was for whichever council, if other council.
Yeah, so to attend the full time.
If
Beside
whatever
the
they're
mayor.
available to. That we
Yeah,
authorize,
beside the
yeah.
mayor, whoever.
And
wanted
try to carpool where possible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. So if you. we
It's
choose
unlikely
to
it'll be me,
stay,
though.
Fine, if you can, yeah. Okay, and.
But you can pay for individual days. Like it isn't an all, you pay for it and it's done. Like it's January 20th to 26th. It's not the nicest travel day.
No, it's not good. That's why I'm scared to travel alone. And
Go to Prince George in January.
Yeah, it would be nice to have together. So is the clear message to the staff?
And I have no idea if you've already booked a hotel. I have no.
I
I
Kim
got
knows
an
that.
email today. I have not.
Kim knows all about, so
Yeah.
if we can have a tent there. And
But
okay, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Okay, information, please.
The council information package for November 4th, 2025 be received for information.
So, second?
Moved in second. Anybody wanted to bring anything discussed? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Mr. CEO, please.
Thanks, Your Worship. So just quickly, just note is the events that happened around Halloween. I think the fireworks were great. I think the downtown activities went off fantastic. I think that they were well received. I know that as well in the downtown core, the RCMP continued doing their work as well as bylaws to encourage that any of the street issues are being taken care of and any kind of encampments are being cleaned up quickly if they are out there. I know that there's still capacity at Roots. In fact, last night I think there was 11 spaces available. And I know that the police wrote this morning around the Hodgson Mall, Spirit Square, advising some of the unhoused that there's perfectly functioning shelters out there for people to go to. We do not receive any information yet from Canadian the Friendship Society, so we don't know what their numbers are at, but we do know that we get Roots stats every day, and they continue to take clients in and work with them and do what they need to do down there and provide them services. So other than that, any questions on that?
Councilor Delaney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, my question's for Jazz. Because I participated in the trick or treat in the downtown. And I wanted to know, did you have any numbers? Like it was amazing. So many kids again.
So pre-COVID, our best was 744. This year, I got 575 at the store. So we're getting back up there. And the last year, I think we only had like 28 businesses sign up. And this year we have 47. So we're seeing an increase again, which is nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, I want to just say thank you because I know that was something that came out of your brain, and a big thank you to the Downtown Business Association because that event is it's so great. And we walked by the Roots. There wasn't, we've been down there multiple times now, and I think they're doing a really great job of the people are just hanging out where they need to be hanging out. So it's awesome.
Please, Councilor Lyon.
Thank you. Sorry. In regards to Roots, I went to the BIA meeting last week, and the only thing that they mentioned is when you're coming down the alleyway, because so many of us use the parking there, because the fence is right up against the sidewalk. If you don't come up to that sidewalk at an absolute crawl, it's a complete blind spot, if you're starting to poke out from that alleyway. And they were wondering if there's any way if they could take some of the coverings on the fence and just pull it back a few feet so that we can be able to see around there a little bit safely. Because I know for me, I basically stopped 5 feet before it because I've had people just like, they're just walking on the sidewalk, but you absolutely cannot see if anybody's on the sidewalk until your vehicle is basically on top of it.
Excellent. Good job, Councillor. Now, oh, sorry, Mr. Maraca. Sorry.
Your worship to Councillor Lyons, the catch-22 on that is that with this council and staff will have to realize that we were the ones that asked them to put that screening up. So taking that down, which makes complete sense, we just have to recognize that if anybody does complain, we're going to say visibility is an issue there, which I would agree, the safety issue, but we have to weather the storm of the calls coming in saying we want these sites blocked off, because that is the corner that you're talking about is exactly where they all congregate to do it. Their stuff. So it's a catch-22, but if there is visibility and safety concerns, and I'm going to go check it out tomorrow, we're going to take it down regardless. So like, we're not going to compromise safety for aesthetics.
Yeah, I did
Right?
have pretty much every single person on the board for the BIA. They all park there, and all of them have said it's been
understood.
a scary couple close calls. Just people on a bicycle or anything, because you cannot see until you're on top of the sidewalk.
Understood. Thanks, Councillor Lyons.
Councillor Nelson, Councillor Delaney, then Councillor Bain, please.
2 questions to the CEO on his report. The first question is that you mentioned this morning that the RCMP were down at Spirit Square, which is literally 150 feet, 200 feet away from routes. Why, and there's 11 vacancies, why do we have homeless people sleeping in Spirit Square when there is a facilities 150 feet away?
Mr. Maraca, please.
Your worship to Councillor Nelson, the what we get the feedback that the RCP get and that gets relayed to us is they are saying that they are not permitted in the facility, but our research and our information says that that's not always true. They're choosing not to be in there sometimes and stuff like that, or they're choosing not to follow the rules and they're aggressive and they've been kicked out before. And if they go back and get reorientated and basically re-instructed that says, you will abide by this and stuff like that, they can be allowed back in. They don't turn anybody away as long as they know the rules and they follow them and stuff like that. There are a few that have been kicked out because they've been violent or something like that, but it certainly isn't enough to say that the 11 people were refused last night, because there was 11 spots last night.
And then the second question is, which was interesting, was you mentioned that we get the stats from Roots, but we don't get stats from other nonprofit organizations. Why is that?
I do not know that answer. I know that Sylvia is reaching out to different agencies to find out if we can start getting those, but we have not been successful. They do not release that data to us at this time. This came from a resolution of council where we were supposed to request these different agencies give us this information, but not all are.
Councillor Flashblower made that. That's right.
Not all are complying to this. So basically, as part of the CAO update, that's what I'm giving to you. I get it daily. Yeah, I don't figure that council wants to hear about it daily. That's why I'll provide it as a CAO update, just to let you know, like, since we've been doing this and since they've been open, that facility, I can count on less than one hand how many times they've been at capacity. So that's why you're seeing way less tents in the community, because we are taking there's a space for you. You can go there.
Thank you. Appreciate the update.
Councillor Delaney, please.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I was just going to say, like, maybe we could just look at a convex mirror or something, rather than taking strips out of there, if there's a way to put one of those parking, those jobbies.
Hold on. Mr. Maraca, please.
Thanks, Your Worship. To Councillor Delaney, convex mirror is nice to come out of your driveway. It's nice to come out of a campsite, but there's certainly not a recognized traffic control device, and it puts us a little bit more risk than, right? So I can appreciate that, and they work, and I would love to do it, but then you're relying on that as something that's who's cleaning it, who's making sure it's visible. And I think that the best way is when you look at like the MOT guidelines and stuff like that, it requires site distances, and there's a very specific triangle that you have to follow. And I believe Councillor Lyons is correct that we will not get to see, I think at 50 kilometers an hour, you got to see 60 or 85 meters down that road to the center line. And I don't think you can see it. So that's why, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting convex mirror. It's just not recognized, but I know what you're saying. We use exactly. You can use them on private property, but they're just on city. This often.
Councillor Bain been waiting very patiently. Thank you, Councillor Bain.
Oh, no, actually, the mirror thing was exactly, thank you, Worship. But back to that point, though, about to regulation, can you ask MOTI? Like, why can't we ask them? Have you?
And MOTI doesn't take phone calls. They have a guideline that says it's not allowed. It's like, it's a book.
Like, there's no mirror, but nobody's going 50K. They're pulling out of a driveway.
No, it's the people coming down the other side. So it's basically, there's a specific way you measure sight distances on any cross streets or out of any lane or out of anything and stuff like that. And it doesn't recognize a mirror. So
And the mirror would have to go on the privately owned building, not on the fence side,
Correct.
because that's the side that we can't see. We'd have to be able to see on the other side, so it means it would have to
But
go
can we
on one of
ask that
Carl's.
privately owned building?
it's our lane.
No, but the building, it could go on the building.
No, but the thing is we're relying on a mirror is something that's going to help people access a city street. So if the sight distances aren't there, you can't use a mirror to say, there you go. It's just, you can't rely on it as something that prevents accidents. And that's what we would hear. So there's very strict guidelines on these things.
Okay, Council Flashball, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just, listening to the conversations in regards to Roots on First, I just wanted to mention at the conference that I was at last week, I heard just positive feedback from an individual there, just hearing good things about the way that our shelter is in this town, and the design of it with that, communal areas for individuals. I think it's a positive thing. You know, I think back to some of the initial things that happened when the area at the Hamel was developed and all of the impacts to the neighborhood there of people just loitering and being on the sidewalks. I'm just not seeing that it's that impactful now because of the design of this building, which is what I believe this council was so hopeful for. And I just think it's a really positive thing. And I just wanted to mention that. Of course, as my colleague mentions in regards to Spirit Square, that's going to happen in every community where you have people that don't want to use shelters and they impact your community. But I think overall, I think the design, and I think we should be proud of what we have in regards to an emergency shelter here compared to some communities. When I drive through Quesnel and I see the shelter there, and you are just driving to merge onto Highway 97, and it's just everybody's in that park area right by it, because you can tell that building's small. It does not support the individuals in the community that are looking for a place to socialize. I just think we've done a really great job, and I just wanted to mention that. That's my thoughts. Thanks.
Mr. Miracle.
Thanks, Your Worship. Further to Councillor Flashbuller's comments. So I did have a meeting yesterday with the manager at the Hudson Mall, and about some concerns still down in that area, as well as obviously everybody saw what happened at the Potato House, and everybody's seeing what's happening at the more so around Spirit Square. So I think that the feedback I will give everybody is it is a way improvement. Like, there's a huge improvement, but it's not out of the woods yet. I mean, like, when I think that there are always going to be people that choose to live rough and be out in the wintertime and stuff like that. They don't want to go to a homeless shelter. But I know all I can say is the police and the things that the council have done to continue to be monitoring it and educate and watch over it. I mean, where's the last time you saw tents in Boitano or anything like that? Like, you'd be naive to say that it hasn't improved, because it has improved in the downtown, right? But there are still going to be pockets, and those pockets are being managed, and we still have work to do, but they are being managed.
Folks, I need a couple of minutes from you after we adjourn. Nothing officially, but unofficially. I want to share with you a couple of things, so don't try to leave. No, I'm going to call the adjournment, then we would have. Yeah,
Second.
adjournment, please. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Quickly, let me just turn the microphone off.